All right, everybody, here we have the Wendt X4 4-channel microphone preamp and field mixer. I just picked this thing up for a pretty fair price, and since I couldn't find out anything about it online, hardly, except for just finding a spec sheet, I thought I'd go over the features and share with you what I found out about this bad boy. It's a really clean, transparent 4-channel microphone preamplifier. You can get for a pretty good deal nowadays that this kind of thing is not as heavily sought after as it used to be. So if you wanted to pick up some very nice clean gain for your front end, for your digital workstation or whatever, you can get these for a pretty fair price. So we're going to go through the features and let you know what we got here. On the front panel here we have 2 VU meters, one for left, one for right. Pretty old school and pretty cool. Then we have 4 gain knobs for channels 1 through 4. Below each one of those we have a low cut filter that's off 100 or 140 hertz for the cut slope. This 5th knob down here on the end is the master output. It's negative 18 on this end and plus 6 dB on this end, and it has a detinted 0 right here that locks into place. It's pretty handy. Here we have a tone generator right here for sending a test tone to your downstream gear. So I'm going to click that on. It should show up on the outputs. You'll see that the VU meter is pegged at 0 while the tone is on. It's click once for on, click another time for off. There's also a slate mic here on the front. So we're going to turn this around to the input side. Here on this side we have 4 balanced microphone inputs on XLR connectors. I have a locking pin right here. There's a 1/4 inch headphone output jack for your headphones. There's a power switch that you can switch between internal batteries or external power source. We'll go over a little bit more about that in a minute. Then there's also a battery check button right here that will show the condition of your internal batteries on the right side VU meter on the front when you press that in, so you can see what condition your batteries are in. You turn this around to the output side. It has a limiter. I'm using the limiter right now. It's just a basic in and out. It's a good sounding analog limiter. It has a microphone level output right here on a stereo unbalanced 1/8 of an inch mini connector. I'm using it to feed the audio to the camera right now. It has a volume control for that mic level output that's accessible through this little hole with a flathead screwdriver. It's really common back in the day for sound engineers to have a mini flathead in their gear bag. There's a monitor volume knob right here that controls the headphone output. There's a DC input for your external power source. It's on a barrel connector. A switch right here that switches the monitor from the mix to the tape return. Down here at the bottom, underneath this little ledge that they've built just above the height of these switches to keep them from getting switched accidentally while you're running this in a bag, there's a pan switch for each one of the inputs, left, center, or right, switchable for 1 through 4. I have input 1 pan to the center, which means that the one microphone I'm using is coming out of both outputs. We have outputs on XLR balanced connectors. Each one is switchable from microphone level to line level independently. And there's a screw knob right here that holds the battery compartment. I'm not going to open that up and show it to you because it'll cut the preamp off and I'm using it. It has 2 tubes behind here. The one on the top holds 4 AA's, the one in the bottom holds 4 more for a total of 8 AA's. These things are remarkably battery efficient and runs for 10 hours or so on 8 AA batteries. So we're going to flip this over and adjust the camera to show you all the switches on the bottom that do all kinds of stuff here. All right, for all 4 channels, we have a phantom power switch right here that supplies 48 volt phantom powering, which most condenser mics use nowadays. DYN is for dynamic mics, which means the power will be turned off. It also features 12T parallel power for older type condenser microphones. That was a very common powering scheme for mics back in the day, and some people still use it. There's an input mode switch for each one of the inputs, switchable between line level and mic level. There's a preamp attenuator for each input, switchable from 0 to -10 to -20. There's a channel ganging feature right here on these switches where you can gang channels together, and it changes the way that the gain knobs on the front work. There's a tape return level control right here, also accessible through the hole with a flathead miniature screwdriver. And then there's a phone switch right here. You can switch your headphone output from mono to check your mono compatibility. Not as big a deal now as it used to be. Or stereo, which is how most people are going to use it. But it also has a mid-side decode switch. So if you're using the mid-side technique in the field, you can decode the headphone output to dial in your ratios. Down here at the bottom, it has a diagram and some info about the batteries. It uses 8 AA's or an external power source between 12 and 18 volts DC on that barrel connector that's on the outside. There's also a diagram here for the 12-pin in and out breakout cable that's over here on the input side. Mine didn't come with this cable, and I have no plans to build one or use it. The main thing that would enable you to do is to use the tape returns, which is the only thing that's not present on some other switch or jack somewhere on the device. So no plans for me to connect this thing to an old-timey camera other than how I'm doing it now. I did want to show you on the front. It's pretty cool. These VU meters have a momentary switch that will illuminate them. Say you're using this thing in the dark, you need to check your levels or do whatever it is you're doing. Click that lamp button and it turns on the VU meters for about 10 seconds. So one of the reasons this thing is so battery efficient is that these things like this are designed. You don't have to go worrying about, did I turn it on, did I turn it off, is it killing my batteries? The lights and things like that are the things that drain your batteries the fastest. So click it on, it gives you about 10 seconds to do your thing, and then it fades itself off, so you don't have to worry about it. There is no way to switch it on and keep it on, which some people might not like, especially if you were just using this thing at your desk and not in the field. But pretty cool, especially these old school VU meters. Again, I couldn't find out anything about this online, so now that I've got it in hand, I just wanted to walk you guys through all the stuff that this thing can do. The Wendt X4 microphone preamplifier and field mixer. If you have any questions, comments, criticism, please leave it in the comments below. Y'all have a great day.